we're starting to show a series of videos on how to properly do extensions on a child hair that's just starting to grow. Our beautiful little model here, who's sitting and cooperating with us very well. Her hair is short, but the whole purpose is to try to get this particular child's hair to grow. So you want to put the hair extensions in a certain way. You have to be very careful not to use a lot of tension and things of that nature. And the reason I decided to do such video is because I see too many times out there that there are a lot of people who are improperly putting hair extensions in children's hair. So I just want to do a demonstration to show you the proper way to add extensions to a child's hair. Extensions for this particular demonstration. And it's very important for you all out there to understand that you have to use a certain amount when you're adding extensions to a child's hair. If you use too much hair, it's too much weight on the texture of the hair, which the synthetic hair can break it off. Okay. What we're showing now is how the braids should look, the size of them, and the reason I started it out showing you a whole side that was completed, because remember, we are dealing with a little model here, and we have to think about the time that it takes and how long we're going to have her sitting. So I decided to show you all this whole side that's been previously done. The whole concept is when you're adding extensions to a child's hair, you want it to look as natural as possible. So that's the reason why you don't want to add too much hair in for it to look thick and look like you have actually added hair extensions in. For a child her age, she's only 3 years old, so it would not be necessary to add a whole lot of hair to her head, but you just want to add enough so it's going to look really nice and not look overly done. So this is a completed side, but I'm going to go through the process of showing you exactly how much hair you should add to each braid. Alright, we're going to use the same procedure that we used before, remembering when you part the hair, the amount of hair that you added into the braid should be the same. And constantly, always remembering and being conscious of the amount of tension that you're using on the hair when you're adding in a hair extension. For this particular style that we are doing on her hair, similar to the mohawk style, with all the braids are coming to the middle, and we're actually going to add beads on the end. So that's why I only braid the hair down as far as where we're going to cut it off at, and then we'll be adding the beads at the end. And also when you're doing kids' hair, not only kids, anyone, when you're putting hair extensions in their hair for the first time and you're using synthetic hair, one of the things you want to look for to make sure that the client is not allergic to the hair. Because sometimes there are signs that they may be allergic to the synthetic hair. So some of those signs are, it is extremely dry, itchy, or happens to turn red, or if you notice that the child is constantly digging in their hair, then you may want to look at it a little closer and make sure that it's not because they are allergic to the synthetic hair. And if they are allergic to the synthetic hair, then you want to try the same procedure, but you're going to use human hair. Alright, now we have completed the whole style that we're doing as far as the cornrows in the middle. And you can see the amount of hair that we have added in. Actually, once we put the beads on this, it will hang maybe about that long, but we will show you the finish, how the total look when it's finished. And we're actually going to add some cornrows to this section of the hair and just make a few come over this way to come over to the side. The main thing to remember when you're doing kids' hair of this age, their hair is still growing, and you want to go with the exact hairline of the child, remembering not to pull extremely tight. You start right at the hairline and just do your cornrow. Do not pull back because you don't want to add any extra tension on it, which is going to cause the hair to break off. And also, another important thing to remember when you're doing a child's hair of this age, you want to change the styles up. You never want to constantly keep pulling it in the same direction all the time, because that will cause the hair to thin. And then a child of this age, they will end up with permanent hair loss. The same thing can happen when you put ponytails and you pull their hair and you're putting the ponytails in the same direction all the time. Most of the time, if it's going to be a ponytail, you want to put a cornrow down the perimeter of the hair, then make the ponytails, because that will prevent the edges from breaking off. Now we're at the finish completion of this 2-year-old's hair extensions. So as you can see, this looks very, very natural. If I didn't tell you it was hair extensions, you wouldn't know it. And that's how it should look. Our beautiful model here. She was very patient, and actually she was an excellent client. And now we completed. This is our nice little model, Miss Jayla. Remember, she's only 2 years old. So this is a nice, cute little style for a 2.5 going on 3-year-old. Alrighty, we thank you. You did an excellent job.